Hello and welcome. This is Hassam Ahmed from HE Gaming Studio. In this video, we will be covering strings in Python. A string in Python is a sequence of characters enclosed in single, double or triple quotes. So for example, if I say single underscore Q and say something like Ahmed, so it represents a single quoted string. Now if I say double underscore Q equals to, it represents a double quoted string. So why actually we need a double quoted and a single quoted string? One example I must give to you guys is the use of contraction inside a string. So if we use a single quote and we also need a contraction inside a string, okay, so if I say that's, and so it's a contraction, okay. What actually is happening here? When I press enter, it will give an error because Python will think this string ends actually here, but we don't want it because we want the whole string to be printed out. So for that we actually use a double quote. So now if I do it again like this and remove a single quote and put a double quote, now it will be printed, and now when I print it, it will give me the answer. Okay, there is another string which is called a triple quoted string or multi-line string. When we have a long syntax or a long paragraph, we actually uses a triple quoted string. So I will say multi-line equals to and put 3 double quotes and say something like, hey, this is my YouTube channel. So when we have a sentence more than one lines like this, something like this, we actually use a multi-line quoted strings. Now if I print it, okay, now if I print it, it will give me a 3-line string, okay, like this. Now every character in a string has a position that is called an index. Python uses zero-based indexing. What does it mean? So for example, if I say name equals to A, B and C, zero indexing means in Python every character inside a string contain an index. An index is a position of a character inside a string. A contains 0 index, B contains 1 index and C contains 2 index. Now if I want to index, we actually use a double square brackets like this, and we need to provide an index value for a given character. So we want to index the A character, and A character has a 0 index. So now if I give a value of 0 to it, it will return A. Now if I say 1, it will return B, and now if I say 2, it will return C. Negative indexing can also work from an AND. Negative indexing starts from C, like -1, -2 and -3. These indexing here are called positive indexing. And now if I say -1, it will give me an answer of C. Now if I say -2, it will give me an answer of B, and now if I say -3, it will give me an answer of A. So how does it work? If I say, okay, let me give you an example like ABC. So A actually contain a 0 index, B contain 1 index and C contain a 2 index. But if we are actually doing a negative indexing, so A will contain -3, B will contain -2 and C will contain -1. Now if I print it, we will see that A contains 0, B contain 1 and C contain 2, and at the same time C contain -1, B contain -2 and A contains -3. We can also slice a string to get the part of a string. Okay, for that I want to include another string called word, and I want to give it a value like amazing, And now I want to slice this string into pieces. We need to give the two square brackets, and inside this we're gonna actually use colon, and at the left hand side of this colon we actually provide the value like a 0 index. Actually it will include and paste it into our answers. And on the other hand side we are going to give another index value which it gonna skip. So like if we give it a value of 6, it will actually skip the 6th index and give the answer from 0 to 5. This amazing word contains total 6 6 index values from 0 to 6. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what does it do? It will actually print the words from A to N. So if I press enter, it will give an answer like this. Now if I say 0 colon and leave it empty, it will print the entire character of strings. Or if I say empty colon and 7, it will also print the entire character of string. And if I leave it entirely empty like this, it will also print the entire string. So these three methods here are all same. Now we can also provide a skip value as part of our string. Skip value skip a character. So if I say word and I want to index the character 1 index and through character 6, and after that I need to provide some skipping value. So if I provide it 2, it will skip only word and jump into the second index character. So if I start from one index character which is actually M, it will skip A and jump into Z. After Z it will skip I and jump into N. So now if I print it, it will give me M, Z and N. We can perform many functions on strings to operate or manipulate them. The first function is a len function. This function finds the length of strings, mean they find the total number of characters inside a string. So if I want to find the total number of characters inside this string, which is amazing, so we need to type something like len, and inside this we need to provide a value which is the variable name. So we need to type word, and when we press enter, it will give the answer of 7 because there are total 7 characters inside a string. There is another function called lower and upper. So now if I say name.lower, name.upper, it will capitalize the whole character. Amazing. Now it is already capitalized. So now if I want to make it smaller again, I would type something like word.lower, and it will again do something like this. There is another property called capitalize, which will capitalize the first character of the word inside a string, but it will only capitalize the first character of the first word, not other words inside a string. So if I say I define another string, amazing work. And now if I capitalize it, it will only capitalize A, not W. For that we use another function called word.title, and it will capitalize each character of each word inside a string. There is another function called count, which will count the total number of occurrence of any character. So for example, if I say word.count, and we need to provide some value like A, B, C or D. So if I say A, it will print something like A because I provided a small a and it is here a capital A, so it just print this A, which is exactly 1. Now if I define another word like A, B, B, C, D, E, F, G example, and I say word.count and say A, so it will print that there are total 6 A characters inside this string. Now if I want to replace a word inside a string, for example I want to replace this word with some other word, so for that we need to use the replace function, and inside replace function we're gonna actually provide an old value which is a work, and a replaceable value. Okay, so for that we need to do something like this, work, and I'm going to replace it with Python, and when I press enter it will say amazing Python instead of amazing work. This is it for the functions of strings. I hope you will understand it. Now there is another property called escape sequence character. Okay, so if I show you an example of this, there is a multiline we actually define. If someone don't want to use a multiline quoted strings, so we can actually do it with an escape sequence characters. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually put an escape sequence character like \n that will end a line within our string. So for example, if I want to end this line after the word u2, I'm gonna put \n, and when I press enter and print this multi-line string, it will actually print this string into 2 lines. See, hey, this is my YouTube, and after YouTube it breaks the line and start a new line from the word channel, because we put a \n after YouTube and before channel. There is another property called \t, which provides spacing between 2 characters or 2 words. So if I take an example of a multi-line and put \t after this and press enter and print it, it will actually give a tab-like space between 2 characters inside a string. There are many properties of escape sequence characters, but for this video these 2 properties are enough. I hope you will understand these important topics of strings. I have given you an assignment in the video's description. Kindly have a look and try to solve it yourself. Thanks for watching the video.